Hi everyone. I'm just setting up my other iPod so that I can watch everybody's comments. So give me a sec here. Hopefully I won't freeze anymore. How are y'all doing? Let's go to Simply. Oops. Ah, there I am. There. Y'all got a good look at the top of my head. Okay, I'm back. Just wanted to make sure that I can read everybody's comments here. Okay. How's everybody doing? Who's here? Phyllis. Phyllis, you're the only one watching me, but I just came on, so we'll wait a few minutes for everyone to come on. Hi. Hi, Claudia. Yeah. So I'm so sorry. I just haven't been able to come on. Hoping that I'll be able to do a little bit more. I am designing a couple of new kits, but everything is just really sporadic. So, I can come down and, work for, just a little bit, and I just never know when. Thanks, Val. Thanks, Claudia. Things are just, really sporadic right now. So, thank you all for your patience. I'm still working hard to try and get everything. So glad I got everybody's kits out. I do apologize. They were a week later than I had wanted to send them out again, but there was just no way I could get them out earlier with everything that's going on. So, yeah. Trying to think of what else. Beautiful fall. We're having beautiful fall. I feel bad for everybody in Florida. My gosh, and was it the Carolinas got really wanged out with Helena? So everybody down in the States, you be safe. I tell you, it's awful. We never get anything like that on the West Coast. We don't get hurricanes or tornadoes or anything. It's more of an East Coast thing for some reason. Yeah. Thanks, Claudia. Yeah, so everybody's kits did go out. Everybody's invoices, I think, are out except for the last one. Phyllis, you did ask about the shelf sitter. Yeah, and I didn't realize they were out, so I just added new ones. I put some more up. Hi, Rhonda. How are you doing? You're still over 100, Claudia? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think everybody's missed everybody. I know I sure have. Yeah. We're gonna do the pumpkins, crows, and sunflowers. Oh my, today. Thanks, Rhonda. Hi, Mary. Yes, we're doing that today. Now I went ahead and I already base coated everything, and I painted like all the sunflowers completely except for one. So I'll show you that way. I can show you how to do. I have to sit there and just do them on repeat for all five sunflowers because they're all painted the exact same way. So yeah, just to make things go a little smoother and a little faster today. Just because I never know if I'm going to get called away. So yeah, I was really trying to use my noodle. Do you like my lantern? Isn't it just the sweetest thing? To show you. For those of you who did not see it the other day. So Halloween, these are great. These are the black ones. And if you're doing something, a really dark thing, pick up some of these black tea lights, not the white ones. But yeah, so I took this from the Dollar Tree and I removed this whole bottom piece comes out, this whole thing. So I removed it. I cut out one of these little backs right here. And then I cut a piece of wood that's exactly this size, glued it on, and then I could insert the tea light, see, take it in and out, so I could turn this on, because once I glued this to the base of this, I wouldn't have had access to the tea light underneath. So I had to do a little bit of maneuvering, but so I took these two cheap little Dollar Tree pieces. They're like, what, $1.50 each here in Canada? And I made the most darling old-fashioned, street lamp. I thought it turned out so pretty. I just love it. I can't wait to add it to my decorations this year. I mean, yeah, and so cheap. Like that thing probably cost me $1, $2, $3, maybe $4 to make. And that's including buying the two pieces and everything. So yeah, so cheap. If you're looking for something cute to do, there's something. Oh, oops. Every once in a while I'm looking at this. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, I had so much fun. I did a lantern before everything happened, and then I just had to finish the embellishments and stuff on it. It took me all that time to do that, but I finally got it done. I am, like I said, creating a few more kits. Hi, Deanna. A few more kits that I'll be putting out. Thanks, Keiko. It's nice to see you. But I think we'll get started on this pumpkin plaque. So I'm going to turn this over. I made a few adjustments in here. So I want to just checking everything, looking at everything. I'm hoping this will work good. I lift this up. Oh, ha! I pulled the whole thing out. There. Hey. Tossed everything around. Oh, I just want to move this. How's that? Does it move? Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's all right. But I want to move this ahead a little bit too. Okay. That it? Did I do that right? I'm just going to add a little bit more light on this side. Sorry, I tried this new setup last night, so I want to make sure that it's okay. There. Hoping that's okay. It's not light. Stupidest light. I'm looking for a new setup in here, so I'm hoping that I can get this. Okay. That's it. I'll have to do. Okay. It is actually quite dark though. And I am not that dark. So anyway, I base coated all this. Now what I did was I base coated the front and the back of this, and this I used vintage mustard. Now you can use, just check your yellows out. You can use true ochre, but if you do, you've got to lighten it up with like a yellow ochre, because the true ochre would be too dark, unless you like it really dark. I mean, you can do this your favorite pumpkin-y color if you want to. If you use yellow ochre, just add a little touch of the true ochre to it. You just kind of want to have this really gorgeous golden-y yellow color. You can check marigold out. I think marigold might work. Yeah, so it's mostly just looking at what you have in stock and seeing what works. So I've already done this, and I gave it just a really nice light sanding with my 320 grit sandpaper. Now, I have this stamp. I love this stamp. This is a sunflower stamp that I got from Stampendous. you, most people won't have this, and that's fine. You can use whatever you have. You can use a stencil, you can use a stamp. The only thing I would recommend is see how fine, these are really fine lines, that if you are using something that's quite busy or the lines are really thick, when you go to stamp it on or stencil on, I would do it very softly to start, like really softly, because you don't want it too dark. You don't want the background to overwhelm everything else. So just press really softly. You can lift up a little corner to see what it looks like. And if you want to press a little bit harder, you want it a little bit more. But I don't know if you can see on this one, there really is hardly, you can really, it's not really outstanding, the stamp on there. It's very soft. So just go softly. If you find when you do it, you press too hard and it's quite dark and you don't want it that dark, just give it a light sand just to take some of that off. Okay, so first of all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to take my vintage photo. I'm sorry, yeah, the oxide. So this is a lighter one. So I'm going to do this one and press it all over here. Now, if you don't have, you're not using these, you can use raw sienna. And again, just start off lightly. Let's see how this works. I did. So you can see how I haven't overwhelmed the background. I'm just filling that in. And that's all I want to do. I don't want it to overwhelm everything else on the piece. I just want it to be on there nice and softly. Just remember after you use a stamp, and I have to be really honest with you, I'm very bad at this, just wipe off what you've done. Just makes it easier for cleaning later. I'm really bad at this. I usually end up not doing this, and then I have everything's kind of stuck to it, and I have to put like hand sanitizer on it to get it off, and then you have to be careful because you don't want to get it all stiff. Anyway, that's what I do. My comments are not coming. Okay. Oh, here we are. There you go. So great to see your smiling face. Thank you, Catherine. Hi, Diane. Hi, Carolyn. Just want to get this ink off my hands or I'll get it all over the piece. Put that over there so I don't lose it. And you can do the front and the back if you want. I didn't bother doing the back too, but you can. Okay. Then the next thing I did was I went all the way around the outside with my sander. I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to rough up these edges. And this is also your own, preference, how much you distress this. I have to keep tapping my iPad for the comments to come up. You don't have anybody in your office right now, Rhonda? And then I'm just going to take a piece of paper towel. Just get any excess off. I'm not worried about going around here because we're actually going to be adding the other piece on top of this. I'm just going to get rid of all that dust from sanding it. So I did a couple of different distressing. Really, you can, it all depends on how much you like to distress. So I first took the Distress Oxide. This is the lighter one. Just add a little bit of this color to it. Where's my big one? Here it is. I like to go around it like that. I think actually I'm going to use my brush. I think I want to come in a little bit more with this color. You can see how I'm pulling it in more towards the center. And then I'll do a coat of the, I think I'll use the walnut stain. More around the edges. But I like pulling this in here. My sister's coming down. I'm really looking forward to seeing her. Now you can also do this again on both sides. I didn't bother. I didn't do it on this one, and I'm not going to do it on this one. So then I went and took walnut stain. I like this color. And I, again, just repeated this with the walnut stain. I'm just going to clean this a little bit. Just on a piece of paper towel. Depending on how dark you want to go, you can start off with this Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, and it gives this kind of, I like this little kind of hue. And then you can, if you want to deepen it a little bit more, you can use the Distress Ink Vintage Photo and just not pull it out as far. And then you can go into the walnut stain, or really just use what you have, is what I would say. If you're doing this, maybe come in with a little bit of, if you don't have inks and you want to use something else, just use some, maybe some raw sienna. Come in first, just see, you would do it very lightly and pull it in, and then just go over it with a little bit of asphaltum, more closer to the edge. Just trying to see the photos. Oh, there we are. So now I have the walnut stain on here. So I'm just going to pull it in, but a little bit closer to the edge. I'm not pulling it in as far. I like this color for distressing. I also have antiquing wax. So if you have antiquing wax, but you don't have like this walnut stain, you can use the antiquing wax to pull this kind of darker color in. So there, so that's about all I want to do on here. I'm trying to decide if I want to use, I don't think I need to put any antiquing wax on this. I think it's dark enough. But again, you can use the antiquing wax if you want. And when I say antiquing wax, so I have this. This is the Country Chic antiquing wax. And it just looks like this. Every time you use it, when you finish and you put the lid on, it gets a film over it, which is actually kind of neat because it preserves it so nothing dries out. I love antiquing wax. All right, I'm just going to put that there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to splatter this. So I'm going to splatter it with two things. I'm going to splatter it with some light buttermilk. Then I'm going to splatter it with some traditional burnt sienna. Making sure Let me see now, light buttermilk. And again, always use the colors that you have handy. Don't worry if you don't have the exact colors or things that I use. You can always message me and say, I don't have this. What can I substitute it for? And I will figure it out for you and get back to you. So just picking up a little bit on a toothbrush, a little bit of water. I think I actually want a little bit more. I have to put a Band-Aid on and have a little owie. And then I'm just going to, I like to splatter it a little bit on my wax paper or whatever you're using, just to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to give it a light splatter. Okay. Again, I don't want to use too much, no need to. And now I'm going to take a little bit of my traditional burnt sienna. There seems to be quite a... That light's a little better. For some reason, I've been having trouble with my lighting. I think I've mentioned that the last couple of times, and I think it's the change in season, and I haven't actually really been able to come on and spend time trying to figure it out, but it is something that I have to do. Now I'm splattering with the traditional, I like the traditional Ross burnt sienna. If you don't have it, if you just have burnt sienna, that's fine. There, I think that's about all I want to do. Maybe just add a little bit more. There. So this background now is all done. So I can take this and I'm just going to put it aside. I can just put it right there and let that dry. Just going to wipe my hands off so that I don't get stuff all over the next thing we're doing. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our 3 green slats like this. We're going to distress these and do our splattering on them. Okay, so these are already base coated with celery green, and you only have to do one side of these because they really are just glued right flat. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give them a light sanding. So I'm going to use this. And I'm just going to pull a little piece of wax paper to sand them on so I don't get it all over my puppy pee-pee pad. So again, I'm just going around all the edges to distress these up. I have to get you guys to tell me what you'd like to see more of. So Christmas is coming up fast. Do you want me to concentrate a little bit more on ornaments that you can do? Plaques that you can do? Specialty pieces you can do? Let me know. I'm coming on this weekend. I'm not sure which day yet. Hoping no, Roxanne's coming on Saturday, maybe on Sunday, to do the Tarnished Angels for you. Everybody's has gone out in the mail, so I'm just going around the edges on all these green pieces, just sanding them. This is with my nail file. I think it's the one for acrylics, right? Anybody gets their nails done and they want a really good file for their nails. So if you ever get acrylics put on, ask your nail salon. They can order you a couple of these. These are awesome. Deb Antoinette gave it to me and I just absolutely love it. Okay, so I'm just taking all the dust off of here. Get the dust off my paper. Okay, so now I have these 3 pieces. I think I'll get a little piece of paper towel. So I have these 3 pieces and I've sanded them all down now. So I just want to work around the edges now. There's some different things that you can do for around these edges. You can use just antiquing wax to go around them. You can use asphaltum if you don't have any of the inks. You can just use, you know, if you've already got your walnut stain out but you don't have antiquing wax, use your walnut stain or, you know, any darker one of the inks or oxides. So I'm going to use, just because I want to see what it looks like. This is my antiquing wax. I'm just going to remove, you can see this film that gets on it. I'm just going to move a little piece of that film. And I have one of my, blending brushes. I have a couple that they're just, I just use for my antiquing wax because this stuff really doesn't come out of these brushes well because they're a wax, so you know they're kind of that oily. Let's see, you got those at Sally's. Yeah, yeah, you can get them. Can I make smaller ornaments? Yes, I like, yeah, I can do. I have lots of little ornaments that I can do, so that works well for me. I think I'm just trying to decide. No, I want to do this first. Okay. Never mind me. Just want to add a little bit of this antiquing wax just here and there. I don't need too much of it. I do like it on the edges and on corners. And I'm just going to go all around with this. So this is, I like to kind of concentrate quite a bit on these edges. And you can see, so I have it on my finger, and you see how, as I'm kind of maneuvering it around, I'm getting a little bit on the slat. That's great. It just makes it look a little bit more aged and stuff. So that's why I am not trying to be careful. I don't mind if I get a bit on there. And I'm just going to kind of lightly go around here. I'm just doing this on each one. I just use my finger kind of to blend it in a little bit more where I want it. Now, when you do it again, if you find you've put too much on and you go, oh, it's too dark, I don't like that, you can just take your sanding block and just really fine sandpaper and just sand a little bit of it off. But I'm going to show you now what I mean. So you can see how these were all just nice and green, but see them now and you can see where there's little little dabs of this antiquing wax that has kind of gotten over them. And you know what, that is absolutely fine. I like that. It just kind of dirties it up a little bit more, so I like that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take my sanding block, and this is a 320 grit, and I'm going to go over these just kind of randomly a little bit in the middle. Just want to kind of mess this up a little bit. Kind of looks a little bit more worn here and there, but I wanted to do it after I did the antiquing wax. And I'm using more of the tip here, not laying it down really flat. And it just kind of gives it a little bit more lines and roughness to it. And I'm going to do that on all 3 pieces. And not too much, you don't have to go crazy. But I like the way that it just makes them look a little bit more worn. Oops. Okay, so now we have these. Now we're going to splatter these. And we're going to splatter them again with the, I wonder if I think actually before I splatter them, I am going to stencil on the 2 words. So this one, I'm going to stencil on the word fall, and then I'm going to do pumpkin on this one. So I'm going to do that first. Now, what I used was, this is that fall stencil that I had. So you can see the word pumpkin here and the word fall here. So I just used this. And I just did a guide like this. Now you can use whatever you want, color you want. If you can use asphaltum if you want. You can use any of the oxides, inks, or even antiquing wax if you want. I think I'm going to try the antiquing wax just because I want to see what it looks like with the antiquing wax. So I got my blending brush. I want to see what it looks like with this color. Oh, I like that, okay. I think I might do it a little bit softer though. Take some more of that ink off. Okay. Oops, and again, I used the antiquing wax, but you can use any of the inks or the inks or oxides or just asphaltum. Burnt umber you can use. Now this is the top slat, and you can see on this where I stenciled pumpkin right here. So I'm going to do that. And I just took the pumpkins right from here. Now you can take your tape, and if you don't want to get any of this other down. So this says pumpkins please, so I'm just actually going to avoid it. So there you are. I've just put the pumpkins in. Yeah, it seems people would like to see the smaller ornaments made, and that I can do. Okay, so I have these done, so now I'm going to splatter these. So I'm going to splatter them with light buttermilk, and then the traditional burnt sienna or burnt sienna. You can use either one. Let me just put these over here so we don't get a mess. So I'm going to do the light buttermilk first. I'm just going to give these a light splatter. And I'm going to try not to go, I don't want to go too much, especially where the lettering is. I'm just kind of taking my time. Then I'm going to do a little bit of the traditional burnt sienna. Again, you can use traditional burnt sienna. Any of those will be fine. And I'm going to splatter this. I think I want the drops to be a little bigger. So if you want your drops to be a little bit bigger, your splatter drops, just use a bit more water. Okay. So these ones are all done. I'm just going to put these to the side. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the crows. Well, actually, I think I'll do the little pumpkin first. We'll do the little pumpkin first. So anyway, this is just painted with, I use the vintage photo. So whatever you use to paint the background, the main background, you can use for this. Now I did this very plain. So the first thing I did was I'm just going to give it a sanding. So I'm just giving it a sand. Oh, that's what I had on my fingers. Oh, I had it on my Band-Aid from... Just gonna dip that in a little bit of water. There. Let's get rid of that. So I did this really plain. I'm just going to take a little bit of my, the same things that I used on the main piece, so the Distress Oxide. So this is the lighter one. I'm going to take it and just go around. I'm just going to pull it in a little bit more to the center. Like that. And then I'm going to go and use my walnut stain and just add a little bit more color to that. So now I really just left this, then I just splattered it, but I was thinking if you have this, see these pumpkins here? And all these little lettering and stuff, if you have this, look what you can do. Why not take this and where it says Happy Pumpkin, I'm going to take my walnut stain. I'm adding this on. And I'm going to write Happy Pumpkin on this. Well, not write it. I'm going to stencil Happy Pumpkin on this. See what that looks like. Oh, see, look at it. See, I like that. It's just not quite so plain, and I'm just going to splatter that. You can also, if you want, do the little, folds in the pumpkin and shade that in. But I like this, so I'm just going to do this. So that's just a little extra thing that you can do. And same thing, same splatter. I'm going to splatter it with the light buttermilk and then with the walnut stain. There. Oops. And a little bit of the walnut stain. Here, just like that. So this one is all painted. And we added that little stencil. So I'm just going to put it to this side. Just going to take some baby wipe and see if I can get some of this off my little Band-Aid so I don't get any more on any of the pieces. We're going to do the sunflowers next. This is the inks and the oxides. They stained my hand. You'd think I smoked cigarettes. I do not. Yes, Roxanne's coming down, her and her hubby, on Friday. They're staying with her son, which is like 30 minutes away from where we are. So I'm really excited to see her. What color was that again on the pumpkin? The main pumpkin piece was Vintage Photo. Again, if you don't have Vintage Photo, you can use yellow ochre, marigold, try any of those. And then when you do it, you'll know if you have to make it a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. Yellow ochre is a little bit too light. True ochre is too dark. So just kind of, you know, either lighten up true ochre or darken up yellow ochre. Marigold, I'm not sure. I didn't have any marigolds left to check. I think. Yeah. No, I don't. So just take a look at what you have. Try and get it kind of close to this color here. This is the Vintage Photo from Folk Art. Okay. Now this is the sunflower. So you can see I've actually already done all of the sunflowers except for the one that I'm going to show you. So we're not sitting here for hours. So this is what I'm going to do. So you came with 5. So I've done those ones. So now I'm going to just go ahead and do this one. Just getting my angle brush out. Okay, so I'm going to use Curza's awesome angle brush because it's one of my favorite. Well, it is my absolute favorite angle brush. Now I base coated all of these with Moon Yellow. So you can see it has all the little lines, petals etched into it. So you can use that as your guide. And I'm going to use a True Ochre from Raw Sienna for the shading. Raw Sienna. Ouch. Raw Sienna, and I'm one of these fanatical hand washers. I really like to wash my hands like crazy. And so I always get little splits. Doesn't seem to matter what I do, I get little splits. So, but lately, because of things, I wash my hands even more. So, starting to get little splits again. It drives me crazy. Hate them. So this is True Ochre. And I'm just going to accentuate these petals. Like we just want to get more petals. Shape these petals. So and you know me, I like to dance my colors. So I'm just shaping these. I'm going on the inside of all the petals, on the edge where I want the petals to be kind of the under petals. So that's where I'm concentrating my shading on. So I want these ones to stand out more, so that's why I'm shading these ones a bit. I think I'll do here. And then I really end up coming around and just adding a little bit of True Ochre to all of them. Just adding a little bit here and there. And you can all take a look at the picture that I attached, and you'll be able to see really how I have done these. If you're having a bit of trouble, I'm just going to show you where I have shaded these little sunflowers. This lighting is absolutely horrendous. I don't know why it is so bad. Wonder if I did. But you can see. Wonder if it's just me. Does the lighting look that dark to you guys, or is it just me? I'm gonna try and open this up now that the sun isn't beating through there and see if this helps. Ta-da! Probably not, but see if that helps at all. Oh, super glue. Yeah, it does. The lighting does look okay. All right. These flowers are, the bigger ones are just over 1.5 inches, and the little ones should be like 1 inch. And the little ones are 1 inch. So I did the first shading, and that was with the True Ochre. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the Raw Sienna. And I'm just going to go over, just add a little bit more shading here and there to these flowers. I like to use the end of the brush that doesn't have the paint on it, just to kind of spread the paint a little bit more exactly where I want it. Okay, I'm just going to dry these. So you can see where I have concentrated my shading on. I'm just shaping these petals is really all I'm doing. I'm going to dry these up. And then I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to take some light buttermilk, and I'm just going to highlight parts of the petals. And you'll notice I used colors that are all being taken away from Decor. Moon Yellow. I like the Yellow Ochre and the True Ochre. Can't get those anymore. Drives me crazy because they're my favorite yellows. So you just kind of have to look through your stock and see what colors you normally use on your sunflowers. So I'm just highlighting some of these petals. Just so that some will stand out a bit more than others. Kind of dance a little bit of color on them. Then I'm going to dry them. See, I've just added a little bit of color. I might actually go back and just add a little bit more of the Raw Sienna. See if I covered up a little bit too much of that shading. You can even come in with a little bit of just burnt sienna if you like. Just gonna kind of touch up that shading a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to take my liner. Just put it in here. Oh, I use this one. If I can't find things right away, I just go forget it. And I'll use a different one. Here, see if this works. I just washed all of my brushes. Trying to be a good girl. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of light buttermilk. I'm going to do a few little striations just on the petals, just coming out from the center. Again, I mean, you could just use your own painting skill. You can see I've just flipped some up from the center. I'm going to dry that off, and I'm just going to splatter this. I'm going to just splatter it with a little bit of the traditional burnt sienna, or burnt sienna, you can use either. And I just do this on repeat on all 5 of them. So just splattered a little bit on, went a little crazy with the splattering, but that's okay. I'm going to dry those off. I'm just going to put them over here because I have all the centers for them. So the centers are just buttons. I'm going to move those crows there. So the centers are just buttons that I turned over, used the rounded side, the convex side, right? Goes like this, it's convex. Now, I just want to deepen these a bit. So if I just painted these with raw sienna. So you can do 2 things. You can go this, and then you can add some asphaltum, and then lamp black. If you didn't have raw sienna and you painted these asphaltum, then go right to lamp black. I think I'm going to do a little bit of asphaltum and then finish up the shading with a little bit of lamp black. So I'm just going to take my angle brush and I'm just going to kind of go around. And I'm not going to go all the way around with it. I'm just going to go partially around. And I'm laying my brush down quite flat so it does come out a bit. And I'm going to do that on every button. And you can, if you want, put these on a piece of double-sided tape so that they don't move around. I'm fine with holding mine. And again, I'm just doing a little shade of asphaltum, not really going all the way around, just adding a little bit of color to like half of it, like that. Then I'm going to go into my black. And I'm going to do the same thing with some black. So just where I've done the asphaltum, I'm just going to add a little bit of, come here, a little bit of black to it. So you can see how I've just added a little bit of black there. And I'm going to do that to each and every one. I should look at this. So So you guys are thinking you would like to see me do some more ornamenty things? Ornamenty? New word, ornamenty. Yes, I'm going to do Tarnished Angels this weekend for you. Love the Tarnished Angels. I think they're so sweet. I'm just going to do the side of the button too, kind of where I've done some shading. How many of you, when you're sitting and painting and doing things, do you ever sit with your legs crossed and then realize, oh my God, I'm going to give myself blood clots sitting like this for hours? Do it all the time. Really shouldn't. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so these buttons have had the shading done on them. Let's see if I can just lightly dry those. And then I'm going to take some light buttermilk. Let's see where one of my little brushes are that I want. This. So I'm going to use one of these spongy brushes. Actually, do I have? I think I'm going to use my Deerfoot. I'm going to use my Deerfoot. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of buttermilk on the edge of it. And I'm going to just kind of pounce a little bit on one side. If I can get this to work. And I did it lightly, so it almost looks like little little teeny tiny dots there. And I'm going to do that with each one. Just using kind of just a real tip of some of these bristles. Really, like it's so gently adding these on. And you can use a ball stylus if you want. And just add little dots. But I wanted a little bit more than dots on this side. I am splattering too, but I did want a little bit more than dots. So I'm going to dry these. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of splattering. And I'm going to splatter with some black and with some light buttermilk. So I'm just going to get out my little toothy brushes again. I actually think I'm going to put them on here so I don't, oops, splatter everywhere. And then I'm going to splatter with a little bit of black. Get these off my fingers. So I have some black there, and give me a brush. Use my denture brush. Pick up some black, if that's going to be too, yep. There, so I'm just splattering them with a little bit of black now, and then I'm going to dry these off. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the black. it was a little bit too damp. Now you may have your own way of doing sunflowers and the centers and everything. Do it any way you want, whichever way you're used to and you like doing. You see, we will put these onto here like this. So I'm actually just going to take my glue gun and glue these on, and then they can dry while we're doing other things. I'm using my glue gun just because the inside of these buttons are kind of, you know, are indented, and this will actually fit a little bit better, stay a little bit better on. Same with these. So see how they look? It's a little button and there. So now the sunflowers are all done. We have 5 of them all ready to go. I'm going to just move these over here. Now I have the crows. And these crows, I'm just doing a really light sanding. So I'm going to get a piece of paper towel again, just to sand these on. I'm just doing a light sanding around the edges of these. That little one that Rhonda sent me would work really good if you want to get really into the little crevices and stuff. The little detailed sander that Rhonda sent. That would also work really good for this. Okay, so now literally all I did was I took a little bit of warm white and I splattered this. And I gave 2 little dots for eyes. And I'm not splattering it really heavy. Just wanted a little bit of a splatter on them. And then I'm just going to take my ball stylus. And I took the small end because I don't want these big eyes staring at me. Put more than that. I won't even be able to see the eyes. There. And the crows are all done. And they were, of course, just base coated black. Okay. Just going to put these over here. What else is left in here? Okay. So I have these little grommets. And this is the doorknob. I actually removed it so I could get the paper on right. And the only thing we're going to do with these is after we put them on, we're just going to put a little bit of antiquing wax on them. So I'm just going to put those to the side. This is just the tag. And I base coated it with antique white. And then I sanded around the edge. If you don't want to sand, you can use scissors and just rough up the edge. I'm just roughing it up with this little sander. And then I took some walnut stain. So this is the oxide walnut stain. Not that one. This one. And I went around the edge on it. And I'm going to use my finger as a guide so that I don't come in too far. Okay, and then I took the pumpkin that was on here. I found just one of these little pumpkins. I took this little pumpkin here. And I stenciled it on. I'm going to use the vintage photo. This is the oxide, so I'm going to use it. Just want to get rid of some of this other. Okay, so I just did, and it's just supposed to be kind of messy and messy looking, but I took some of this. I took my brush, picked up a little bit of the walnut stain and kind of dirtied up the little string that's on it. Oh, the crows are really little. There's 3 different sizes. Let me just show you, Claudia. Oops. These are 1.5 is the biggest. The next one is 1.25. And this little tiny one is just about 1 inch. So those are all done. Now the only thing we have left to do is the door. Well, let's put this over here because we're going to Mod Podge this door. So the door comes like this, except the handle is on. I took the handle off. I just took a little knife and kind of went around it and then pulled it off, and it came right out. Leaves a little hole where you'll put it back in. I then base coated the outside of this with asphaltum. So now I'm going to just give it a light sanding just to kind of soften it up and make it look like it wasn't just freshly painted. So like that. And then I'm going to just go around the edge with my rougher sander and distress that edge. So I've just gone around the edge like that. So then what I did was, actually I think before I do that, I'm going to splatter this before I put this on. Otherwise, I'm going to get splatter all over this and I don't really want to. So I took, now you can take bleach sand, you can take light buttermilk, any of those, and just splatter on here. But before I did that, I took a little bit of antiquing wax. And I just went around some of these edges, dirtied them up. Like that. Just dirtying them up. And I use antiquing wax. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Use a little bit of lamp black. Just to kind of dirty these up a bit. If I don't get this off my hands, we know it's going to get all over everything, don't we? Okay, so I'm just going to put that away. Okay, so now I'm going to splatter this first. And I just splattered it with, like I said, you can use light buttermilk. You can use bleach sand. You can even come in with, so I'm going to show you a little something. There's my... Where is it? I just had it. Oh, here it is. So I have a little bit of, this is the celery green, so I'm just going to make a little blob of it too. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to base coat, splatter this with a little bit. I'm going to use the light buttermilk. I'm just going to splatter around that a little bit. Dry it off. Might do a little bit more. There. And then I thought it would be neat to kind of add just a little bit of that green. So, I think this one's pretty clean. Yep. So I'm just going to take one of my, I think I'm going to take one of these brushes. I'm going to take, this is one of Chris's diverse dry brushes. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of the celery green. And I'm going to just kind of go around the edge. See, and I'm just randomly just adding a little bit of this, brushing some of this green on. Now you don't have to do too much, but it just kind of, I like the color that it gives it, and it just seems to dirty it up a little bit more, and it takes away from just too much brown too. So there, and you can, if you want, you can even splatter it with a little bit of that green. Now I'm going to add, make sure my hands are clean. I'm going to put on the paper. So, and it's just Mod Podged on. Go there. I'm just going to brush a little bit of it on. I'm going to do this. There. I do want a kind of an idea of how big this is. So I'm going to just kind of going around it here just so I have an idea. But I'll cut it a little bit bigger. Like this. Pick up a little bit of Mod Podge. I always do it on the back of the paper. I know, everybody's different. I hate having too much Mod Podge. So there, I have that. I'm going to stick it on here. And now this is quite small, so I can actually just use my fingers to press this all down. You can use a brayer. If I ever have any like bigger pieces or whatever, I use a brayer. Or you can use a credit card, you know, one of the hard ones. Room key, those hard plastic ones. But I think I'm fine. This is staying on really good. There's no wrinkles on it, so I'm good. And then I am going to take my little sanding block, go around the edges, and it'll get rid of the excess. Along the bottom. So there. So now I have the door. I used a different one than the paper that was on there, but I do want to dirty this up also. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to use my walnut stain. Oh, I'm going to just take that off. It had the wrong lid on it. Walnut stain. Okay, this is the walnut stain. And I'm going to go around this edge with it. Something that you can do, and I've been doing this lately and I really like it, is I take these little spritz bottles and I fill it up with coffee and I spritz, and it just gives a really nice worn look to things. So just a little something that you can do. Okay, so this is done. I don't need to do a whole lot more to the door. Put these back on. I'm going to take the little handle. I'm going to stick it back on. Where's my ball stylus? Okay. You can feel where the hole is right here. I'm just going to use my ball stylus to make that hole again. And then it has, when I pulled mine out, sometimes when you pull it out or cut it out, this little piece stays in, which is great. Then you can just have to glue it back on flat. But if your end stayed on, you're going to want to put it back in that hole. So I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of this, the Art Glitter adhesive. I don't want to go too crazy. I'm just going to put a little bit on the end and then put it back on like that. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of, this is the antiquing wax. I just want to rub a little bit of antiquing wax on that handle. Not much, like I barely used any, just really aged that well. Now, if you want, you can stencil something on this door, to add anything you want. I like plain, so I'm just going to leave mine plain. But now we can start putting everything together. So I'm going to remove this, put some of these things away. These brushes out of the way. Okay, I'll move that over there. So I'm just going to start gluing this all together. So this is the fall. So I want to, I want my Art Glitter glue to glue this on. So just find sure it's on exactly even along the top and the sides. Yeah, exactly, Deanna. You go to stand up. Sorry, I'm just getting to some of these comments. How's Powell River? What's the weather like? Deanna already received her box. She had ordered some fabric from me. Okay, so I have that one glued on. Now I'm going to glue the pumpkin one on. And I'm going to just do it at a nice kind of little angle like that. figure what my husband's doing up there. It sounds like he's banging something. Okay. What the heck is he doing? What is he doing? And then I have this other one that I'm going to put on like this. Now, when you go to put this one on, I found it easier to put the door on first, because then you can figure out where you want to put this second. Oops, I'm gonna just come up a little bit. Actually, I think I'll move this up. Oh, I moved the whole thing a little bit so you can see that better. Okay, so I'm gonna just glue this door on first. Whew. I'm just going around it. I'm just going to glue it into the middle, onto the middle. Like that. Now, just because of the hinge that's on there from this part of the door, you just kind of have to watch it. Something else you can do is you can just remove the hinge completely. Oh, let me move this up, sorry. You can just take the hinge off completely. Rain, rain, and a little peak of sun now and then. We're just getting sun, sun, sun. Not that I'm complaining that we're getting a lot of sun, but we have been getting a lot of sun. Anybody notice that Dollar Tree and, well, Canadians, Dollarama, is getting all their Christmas stuff in? So then I just made sure that this touched the top of the door like that. Putting this on first really helped position this. Now I think oh yeah. This is not gluing down as nicely as I would like, and I'm not sure why. I wonder if I'm gonna have to use my glue gun. Might have to use my glue gun. I'll see. Stay down. Stay down, Lucy. So while that's drying, let's make the little bow that's up at the top here. So I literally just took a little bit of Spanish moss. I hate the mess that it makes, but them's the breaks. So I gave everybody some. You don't have to use all that I gave you. Just use what you think you would like, however much you want to use in there. I don't want to use too much, but I think I'm going to use about like that. And I can cut a little bit away if I want. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there. Ouch. And there. I'm going to hold that in like that. I'll probably cut a little bit of this away. So anyway, I did a little bit of Spanish moss first. Then I'm going to use a little bit of cheesecloth. I gave everybody cheesecloth. Separate this a bit. I'm going to cut it. You know me, I just like to kind of destroy these when I do them. I am having trouble, ladies. I went to buy all my new cheesecloth from the Dollarama. That's where I get it because I really like their cheesecloth. They they have changed their brand, and I don't really like this cheesecloth as much. So now I'm going to have to go on the run for some better cheesecloth. On the lookout for better cheesecloth, because I absolutely loved what I was getting before at our dollar store, but now I can't get that. Okay, so and you can see I like to kind of separate all these little pieces of the cheesecloth. Put that there. Now I gave everybody wire. So I took this wire and I literally just shaped it into a bow. Like this. I think I got like 3 loops out of each one. I'm just going to wrap it around there. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. To start on the other side where there's only 1 loop. Go like that. This does not have to be perfect, ladies. And then the little ends that are there, I just wrap it around in the middle like that. Just separate this a bit. So I think I'm going to use this and make a little twine out of it. So this is not to be a perfect bow, okay? Just make just wrap it around like that, make a little bow. I have a little end here. I'm going to take it and just wrap it around. You can see there's just some loops, right, that I did. I think it's only 2 on one side. There's 3 on the other. It's fine. This is going to go right here in the middle, but I'm going to just separate these little loops a little bit more. And I'm going to glue it on like that in the middle. So I used 2, but I also gave everybody some of these really thin ones. And I'm going to take one of them and just wrap it around like this. And then I just kind of I like to pull them apart like this. And I just want to add a few little sticky uppies. I'm just going to glue this on. She just loves doing things with me. Okay. That just adds a little bit more, doing a few little of these little twirly ones and sticking them on. And then we take our little tag like this. We're going this way with it. And then we're going to take the smallest crow and we're going to glue it on. Like that. I'm going to cut this away. Okay. Then I'm just going to kind of pull some of those little bows out like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a couple little pieces of, now again, you all know I do not put Sweet Annie in the packages, but if you have any or any dried, you know, little pieces of flour or the, you know, things like this that you like to use, you can put it in. I'm just going to put a little bit of Sweet Annie in here. Yeah. A little bit of glue stuck to my finger here. I think there might be just, I need another one. I'm just going to glue this other one in. I need a little bit more straight in there. Okay. So I've done that. Now I'm going to glue the pumpkin on. So the pumpkin literally is just glued on like this, right where the pumpkin sign is. I'm just going to glue that right there. I'm going to take another little piece of Sweet Annie. And I'm just going to use a couple of really little ones. Like really little ones. I'm just going to slip them right in here. Oops, that thumb is not helping me. I think I'm going to put one back just a little bit like that. And then I took a little piece of cheesecloth. I just cut a little strip like this, and I really pulled it apart. Like I pulled a lot of this apart. So it was really stringy. I wanted it really stringy. Of course, you don't have to do that. You may not like it really stringy like that. I did. I'm gonna just twist it in the center and then stick it down there. I'm gonna cut it a little bit. Now you can use, if you want to put a little something in the center of it, on this one, I used this little berry thing that I had, but I found these buttons, and I thought I would see what it looked like with one of these, oops, green buttons, if I liked it, with a green button. And I think it's too stark, don't you? I might have to see what I want to put there. Just going to leave that little center alone till I figure out what I want to put there. Did put a little berry here, but I haven't decided if I wanted to do that again. And then I took a crow and I glued it on down here. Like that. And then I just started adding sunflowers. So to do it, I took the wire, and I again wrapped them around. Oh yes, so the little skinny wires are 18. The bigger wires were 20. Sorry, the bigger wires were the bigger wires were 22, and the skinny wires were 26. I do believe. You know what? I may have to look that up. What is the brand you were getting? Can I check in hours? The brand of, no, I can't remember what you said, Deanna. The brand of what, hun? What size is the cross? Thanks, rain, rain, rain. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I spoke with the ladies from Jubilee about the tobacco labeling. Yes, I talked to them about it too. She told me that she will talk with the shipping person about changing the labeling so you don't get charged tobacco taxes anymore. Crazy, eh? Hey, Deanna, what did you mean? What is the brand you were getting? Cheesecloth. Oh, you know what? I actually can't remember. Oh, that I was getting? I think it was Betty Crocker cheesecloth, but they don't have it. So it was the Betty Crocker cheesecloth, and it was perfect. I loved it. It was just perfect for everything, but now I can't get it. Okay, so these are just randomly stuck on, but I'm going to do a couple of them. Yeah, it was Betty Crocker, sorry. But this one that I got, I don't know what name it was, but it was not Betty Crocker, and I wasn't as happy with it. So I just kind of wanted to have this, like there was sunflower vines, just some vines. So I wrapped it around and then I pulled it. I joined them together because you're going to need both. Here. And I just glued it on. So I just took it, glued a little piece on. So just literally going to stick a little bit of glue right there. Like that. And you can make your vines any way you want, like have them going in any direction, doing whatever you want. Now that that's a little, not quite as hot, I can push it down. And I pulled it up so you can see how I'm pulling it up to shape it. And then I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put another little blobe right here. And these will be covered up with sunflowers and stuff where we've used the glue. And then I think I'm going to just add a little bit of glue just right here. And we will be putting more glue down so it'll secure it even more. Yeah, I tell you, the Betty Crocker cheesecloth is the absolute best. I love it. And now they don't have it, which really ticked me off. So now I'm going to take the sunflowers and we're going to glue them on. So first I'm just going to glue a little one on. And I'm going to glue one right where we have that first blob of glue that holds it right there. And you really do have to wait and kind of hold that until it dries because you don't want it to knock off. And you will have to be a little careful with these. Then I'm going to take a big one. And where I joined the two, I'm going to glue them on. You will probably burn your fingers, ladies. Little warning. I find as soon as the real heavy, really hot heat goes away, then you can take it and just kind of hold it on a little bit better with your fingers. You don't get glue on your fingers, but it's a little better than getting all the heat on your fingers. And then take the bigger crow, and I'm gonna run that along there, and then put the crow on. And again, you can organize your little sunflower vine any way you want. Now I have 2 little ones and a big one left, so I'm going to put a couple of little ones up here. I'm going to do one where I had a little blob of glue. And then another one just right beside it. Like that. And then I came down a little bit, put the last one on over here. Just about there, I think is fine. Just making sure that that glue is staying really good. But you can see it just depends on where you want to put your little sunflowers. I've just chosen them to do them like this. I took a little bit of Sweet Annie that I had. Thanks to Claudia. And I'm just going to cut some of these little pieces off. And I'm just going to glue a little bit in where the sunflowers are. And I'm just sticking just a little bit in here. Yes, if anybody is wondering, I do have finger protectors. No, I never remembered to use them. You know what they say, suffering artists. Figured this way I'll kind of be one of those suffering artists. I don't think they meant to burn yourself as a suffering artist, but what the heck. How did you like your fabric, Deanna? Deanna picked up a bunch of fabric. From Jubilee Fabrics. Have you ordered from them before, Deanna? And if not, you quilt. Where do you usually get yours from? Yeah, so you can see I'm just adding a few little pieces of Sweet Annie, and I'm just doing it underneath. And really, I mean, I probably could glue them to the backs of the sunflowers, or even to the wires before I put the sunflowers on. Probably would make more sense to do that, wouldn't it? But really, no one ever said I was super intelligent. There, I'm just adding a few, and you don't have to add much. I just added a little bit here and there. Oh, now the grommets, sorry. Let's do these little grommets. So I had these little grommets, and all I did was I took a little bit of a makeup sponge, sponged on a little bit of the celery green. And then I'm going to glue them on the ends here. So I got a little bit of fabric under it. I have to fix that now. Had a little bit of fabric on it. Underneath it. One. I'm not going to bother adding one to the other side. You only need 3 of them, really. I think I gave everybody 4 in case you lose one. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the antiquing wax, just like I did for the button. And I'm just going to rub it on. Really, you don't need much at all. There. And that's our pumpkin plaque. Isn't that adorable? Turns out so cute. And again, you can add little things. Like I added this stenciling to here, which I hadn't in the original one. You can add something onto the door if you want. I mean, you can add a sunflower. You can put a sunflower around the door if you want. I'm just going to bring you up to me. Hi. I'm here. Yeah, so I'm just going to pull that back a little bit. So this, ooh, I'm a little crooked. There. So this is the one that we just finished. I just think it's so adorable. I love how the sunflowers and the crows turn out down here just by doing that little metal vine. So I hope you guys all enjoy doing that and the little tips that I told you about. My hands are all ucky now. Look at this. I will, whoops, I'm just coming to the, so I can make sure I see the comments. I will be on this weekend to do the Tarnished Angels, which I just love. And they're actually so easy to do, that little tarnishing technique, just so easy to do. You can whip up these Tarnished Angels like in no time at all. They're fabulous for craft fairs because you can do so many of them so quickly, and they're just different and they're cute. So yeah, I will, yeah, let me know if you find any, Deanna. I will talk to everybody later. Thank you again. Thanks everybody for your patience and your understanding, and you're all so amazing. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. I'll be on this weekend. I'll let you know when. Thanks again. Bye.